A very warm greeting to all the viewers. My name is Mukta Tiwari, Assistant Professor, B.Ed Department, IMT College of Science and Technology, Greater Noida. The topic of today's live session is trait theory of personality. So let's start. The trait approach to personality is one of the major theoretical areas in the study of personality. Trait theory suggests that individuals' personalities are composed of broad disposition. The trait theory of personality suggests that people have certain basic traits, and it is the strength and intensity of those traits that account for personality difference. So, what is trait? A trait is a personality characteristic that meets three criteria. That is, it must be consistent, it must be stable, and it varies from person to person. A trait can be thought of as relatively stable characteristic that cause individuals to behave in certain ways. The trait approach to personality is focused on difference between individuals. The combination and interaction of various traits form a personality that is unique to each and every person. Trait theory is focused on identifying and measuring these individual personality characteristics. So there are four trait theory of personality. The first one and very popular is Allport trait theory. Second one is Cattell's 16-factor personality model. Third one is Eysenck's three-dimensional model. And fourth one is 5-factor model of personality. So, Allport traits theory. The first trait theory was proposed by a psychologist named Gordon Allport in 1936. He was a pioneer psychologist, often referred to as one of the founder of personality psychology. He rejected two of the dominant school of thought in personality at the time, that is psychoanalysis and behaviorism, in favor of his own approach that stressed the importance of individual differences and situational variable. Allport is perhaps best known for his trait theory of personality. He begins developing this theory by going through a dictionary and noting every term he found that describe a personality traits. After compiling a list of more than 4,000 different traits, he organized them into three different categories, including cardinal trait, central trait, and secondary trait. So, cardinal trait. What is cardinal trait? Allport suggested that cardinal traits are very rare and dominating and usually developing later in life. This trait shaping a person's entire life. Sometimes we know a person by only this cardinal trait. They tends to define a person to such an extent that their name becomes synonyms with their personality. For example, if we talk about the non-violence trait, the first name which comes in our mind is Mahatma Gandhi. Likewise, when we talk about the term altruism, the face which comes in our mind is Mother Teresa. Central trait. These general characteristics form basic personality foundation. While central traits are not as dominating as cardinal trait, they describe the major characteristic you might use to describe any other person. These characteristics influence behavior in a various situation, such as intelligence, honest, shy, anxious. These are some common central traits. Usually a person have mostly 10 to 12 central traits, and these central traits. With the help of this central trait, we can describe any person's that specific person's personality. Now, secondary trait. Secondary trait are sometimes related to attitudes or preferences. They often appears only in certain situations or under specific circumstances. Some example include public speaking anxiety or impatient while waiting in line. These are the specific traits that have minimum impact in any person's life. They are generally temporary in nature. Now, Kettle's 16-factor personality model. This theory was proposed by psychologist Raymond Kettle, who created a taxonomy of 16 different personality traits that could be used to describe and explain individual differences between people's personality. Psychologist Raymond Catters analyzed Alport's list and write it down to 171 characteristics, mostly by eliminating terms that were redundant or uncommon. He then used a statistical techniques, which is known as factor analysis, to identify traits that are related to one another. With this method, he was able to whittle his list to 16 key personality traits. He also developed one of the most widely used personality assessment tool, that is the 16PF questionnaire. So, according to Kettle, there is continuum of personality traits. In other words, each person contains all of these 16 traits to a certain degree, but they might be high in some trait or low in others. For example, the first trait from 16PF is abstractedness. So a person who has high value of abstractedness will be imaginative, versus those who has low value of abstractedness will be a very practical in nature. Likewise, apprehension, the high score has worried versus low score has confident in nature. The third one is dominance, in which the two opposite characteristics are forceful and versus submissive. Emotional stability, it means the person who are more stable emotionally will have calm in nature, whereas the person who has low emotional stability will be high strung. Liveliness, it means the with high score means spontaneous versus low score means restraint. Openness to change, it means flexibility versus attached to familiar. Perfectionism means controlled versus undisciplined. Privateness means discreet versus open. Then ninth one is reasoning, means abstract versus concrete. 10th, rule consciousness means conforming versus non-conforming. 11th is self-reliance, means self-sufficient versus dependent. 12 is sensitivity, means tender-hearted versus tough mind. 13 is social boldness, means inhibition versus shy. 14 is tension, which have two characteristics, impatient versus relaxed. Last second one is vigilance, that is suspicious versus trusting. And last one is warm. It has two characteristics, outgoing versus reserved. So Kettle developed an assessment based on these 16 personality factors. The test is known as the 16PF personality questionnaire and is still frequently used today, especially in career counseling, marital counseling, and in business for employee testing and selection. The test is composed of 4-choice questionnaire in which the respondent must choose one of these 3 different alternatives. Personality traits are then represented by a range, and the individual scores fall somewhere on these continuum between highest to low extreme. The score can be interpreted using a number of different systems depending upon why the test is being used. Some interpretive report take a clinical approach looking at personality, while others are more focused on the topics such as career counseling, teamwork development, career selection, and leadership potential. Then Eysenck's three-dimensional of personality theory. So, British psychologist, hence Eysenck has developed this theory. This is also known as Penn model. So the Penn model is a biological theory of personality, which is developed by influential psychologist, hence Eysenck. This model focused on three broad personality factors. That one is psychotism, extraversion, and neurotism, whose initial makeup Penn, P-E-N, Penn model. Eysenck believed that biological factors including cortisol arousal and hormone level along with environmental factors such as behavior learned through conditioning and influence a person's score on this personality dimension. Eysenck, these are the Eysenck hierarchy of Penn model, who says with the stimulation, we behave in a certain specific behavior. By doing this behavior again, this become a habit, and this habit become a trait by repetition. And after a certain time, this trait become attribute or super function. So, the first one of Eysenck's theory is introversion versus extraversion. This individual with high level of extraversion engage more in social activities. They tends to be more talkative, outgoing, and feel more at the ease in group. Extrovert enjoy being a focus of attention and often accumulate a larger social network of friends and associates. Extraversion is measured on a continuum ranging from high extravagant to low, means introverted. Introvert tends to be quieter, shying away from large social gathering, and then they may feel uncomfortable engaging with stranger. Instead, they maintain smaller group of close friends and are more likely to enjoy contemplative exercise. So these are the range which between introversion as well as extroversion. So next one is neuroticism versus emotional stability. So this dimension of Eysenck's trait theory is related to moodiness versus even-temperedness. So neuroticism refers to an individual's tendency to become upset or emotional, while stability refers to the tendency to remain emotionally constant. Eysenck also proposes a second dimension, that is emotional stability or neuroticism. So individuals scoring high on neuroticism measures tend to experience high level of stress and anxiety. They worry about relatively insignificant matter, exaggerating their significance and feeling unable to cope with life stress. A focus of negative aspect of situation rather than the positive can lead to a person to adopt disappropriately negative outlook. They may feel envious or jealous of others who they feel are in more advantage position. Neuroticism is also characterized by perfectionism and a tendency to feel dissatisfied, angry, or frustrated with others when their desires are not fulfilled. Neuroticism is also characterized by perfectionism and a tendency to feel dissatisfied, angry, or frustrated with others when their desires are not fulfilled or when their expectations are not met. A person with low neuroticism score will generally experience more emotional stability. They feel more able to cope with stressful events and set less stringent demand of themselves. Individuals with a low level of neuroticism are more tolerant of the feeling of others and remain more calm in demanding situations. So according to biopsychological theory, neuroticism is positively correlated with the behavioral inhibition system, which influence behavior with the view to avoid negative outcomes such as punishment. Now, psychoticism versus self-control or normality. So after studying individuals suffering from mental illness, Eysenck added a personality dimension he calls psychoticism to his trait theory. Individuals who are high on this trait tends to have difficulty dealing with reality and may be antisocial, hostile, not empathetic, and manipulative. So psychoticism was a late addition to Eysenck's theory of personality and was included in 1976. This third dimension of personality range from normality, means low psychotism, to high psychotism. Individuals with higher psychoticism score are more likely to engage in irresponsible or miscalculative behavior. They may also contravene accepted social norm and be motivated by a need for immediate gratification regardless of its consequences. Eisen suggested that psychoticism was influenced by biological factors and was correlated with level of hormones such as testosterone. So according to Penn model, high level of traits such as psychoticism reduce a person's responsiveness to conditioning, meaning that they don't adopt the social norms that one may learn through reward and punishment. As a result, the theory suggests that individuals may be more prone to criminal behavior as they seek to fulfill their own interests while violating the rule of behavior accepted by the other. So the next theory of trait theory of personality is five-factor theory. So this five-factor model of personality represent five core traits that interact to form human personality. So first one is agreeableness, means level of cooperation and caring for other. Second one is consciousness, level of thoughtfulness and structure. Third one is extraversion, level of socialness and emotional expressiveness. Next one is neuroticism, level of mood stability and emotional resilience. And last one is openness, level of adventure and creativity. So agreeableness, this personality trait include attributes such as trust, altruism, kindness, affection, and other pro-social behavior. People who are high in agreeableness tends to be more cooperative, while those low in their personality traits tends to be more competitive and sometimes even manipulative. Consciousness. Among each of the personality traits, consciousness is one defined by high level of thoughtfulness, good impulse control, and goal-directed behavior. High conscious people tends to be organized and mindful of detail. They plan ahead, think about how their behavior affect others, and are mindful of deadline. Sometimes scoring lower in this primary personality trait is less structured and less organized. They may procrastinate to get things done, sometimes missing deadline completely. Extraversion. Extraversion is personality traits characterize excitability, sociability, talkativeness, assertiveness, and high amount of emotional expressiveness. People high in extraversion are outgoing and tends to gain energy in social situations. People around others help them feel energized and excited. Whereas people who are low in this personality trait or introverted tends to more reserved. They have less energy to expend in social setting, and social event can feel draining. Introvert often require a period of solitude and quiet in order to recharge. Neuroticism. Neuroticism is a personality trait characterized by sadness, moodiness and emotional instability. Individuals who are high in neuroticism tends to experience mood swing, anxiety, irritability, and sadness. Those low in these personality traits tends to be more stable and emotionally resilient. Openness, which is also referred to as openness to experience, emphasize imagination and insight, the most out of 5 personality traits. People who are high in openness tends to have a broad range of interests. They are curious about the world and other people and are eager to learn new things and enjoy new experiences. People who are high in this personality trait also tends to be more adventurous and creative. Conversely, people low in these personality traits are often much more traditional and may struggle with abstract thinking. So this was all about the different approach of trait theory. So now criticism. So most theorists and psychologists agree that people can be described based on their personality trait. Yet theorists continue to debate the number of basic traits that make human personality. While trait theory has an objectivity that some personality theorists lack, it also has weaknesses. Some of the most common criticism of trait theory center on the fact that traits are often very poor predictor of behavior. While an individual may score high on assessment of a specific trait, they may not also behave that way in every situation. Another problem is that trait theory do not address how and why individual difference in personality develop or emerge. So these was all about trait theory, a trait approach of personality. And these are the references. Thank you so much.